Good evening. I am Mr. Austin Peterson. This presentation is for Academic US History 2, which is typically an 11th grade class here at Daniel Boone. First, a little bit about myself. This is my 17th year teaching here at Daniel Boone. I am a Daniel Boone alumnus. I did my undergrad at Kutztown University, graduate level work at Wilkes University. But more importantly, I'm an active community member and a lifelong Booner here. And I take a lot of pride in what we do in our community and the students that come out of Daniel Boone. I've seen countless students go on and be successful in all walks of life, and I wish nothing more than the same for your students. As I wish nothing more than the same for my daughter, who is also a student here in the district. So this is an academic level class. I keep things pretty structured and straightforward. I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to succeed if they try to do so. Most of our assessments will be in an open format where they'll be able to use a variety of sources and take multiple shots at each one of these assessments. So if they're not happy with their grade the first go around, they will have a couple opportunities to do so and improve upon that grade. Most of our learning and our materials will be pushed out through Schoology, but then also there is the regular Zoom sessions or the in-person sessions that we will have together. If you're looking for an accurate grade, typically Schoology will be the most accurate. Schoology and Infinite Campus sync together, but they do not automatically sync. I will always enter grades into Schoology because that will sync with Infinite Campus, but it doesn't go the other way around. The problem being there is a manual button I have to hit to make that sync take place. I try to keep that as up to date as possible and do it every time I enter grades. But sometimes things get bogged down either on the technology end of things or sometimes I just quite frankly forget. So if you're seeing two different grades and you're wondering why, it's the sync issue, that's probably why. But the Schoology grade will typically be the most accurate. But like I said, I try to keep them all together. So this is the second half of U.S. history. We basically cover from post-Civil War America, the emergence of modern America with expansion westward, growth of cities, industry. Then we see that the excess of the late 1800s leads to some progressive reforms. We become a more democratic nation with direct election of senators and so forth. We begin to acquire our own empire. With territories outside of the continental United States being added to our country. And then we find ourselves in World War I. Coming out of World War I, we have a booming economy, but then that leads us into the Great Depression. Following the Great Depression, efforts to get out of the Great Depression with Franklin Roosevelt and the New Deal. We find ourselves in World War II, post-World War II with the Cold War, and then the suburbanization and economic boom of the 1950s and early 60s. During the 1960s, we find ourselves in a great time of turmoil with the civil rights movement, conflicts over the Vietnam War, and in general, the social change of the 60s into the 70s. Then we will wrap things up with the Reagan conservative years of the early 1980s and tying it to today's history through the first Persian Gulf War and later into September 11th and Barack Obama as president, Donald Trump as president. We get as close to today as we can as time allows us. My philosophy is to tell the story of our country. I want our students to leave here. I don't expect them to remember what regiment charged what, what hill in the Battle of the Bulge or anything like that, but they should have a general understanding of our history, and a general understanding of, how our country got to where it is here today. I feel it's my goal as a social studies teacher to help create effective citizens that have the general background history of our country. If you ever need to get a hold of me, here are the best ways to do so. Email me directly at austin.peterson@dboon.org. You could have your student get a hold of me before or after class. There are the variety of messaging platforms, whether it's Schoology, Infinite Campus, whatever the case may be. Please, if you or your student has any questions, do not hesitate to get a hold of me. I'm here to help, and most things we can work out and all make sure everyone's successful together here. So thank you for watching this video. I'm looking forward to. It's a weird year. It's different than ever before, but I'm looking forward to making it the best we possibly can. So take care.